Guys, it's Joy back, and this time I'm going to talk about why I chose to go to cloth pads, what my feelings on cloth pads are, and just some in general cloth pad things I want to talk about. So, I went to cloth pads in about 2014, 2015, right after I stopped working at summer camp, and it was like a year or two after, and I had seen it on YouTube. I had seen a video about it on YouTube because I was looking for alternatives to my pads because I was having really bad sores down below and it was hurting a lot. And so I seen this video about making your own cloth pads, and I'm like, or in cloth pads in general, and I looked at it and I was like, ooh, okay, those sound interesting. I mean, think about it. You're controlling what goes into them, or you can buy them pre-made, and and they're reusable. So that would be that you're putting less into the environment, and of chemicals and stuff that doesn't break down easily and stuff. And so better for the environment, and sounds like something that might be better for my body too. Because in the one video, she was talking about how she had less headaches, less cramps, less bleeding, and less days on her period. And I'm like, this is something I should check out. So I watched a few videos, but anyway, I'm going to talk about the reasons why I continued to use cloth pads, what my original thoughts were going into it, what my thoughts were after trying them, and after as many years as I've used them, what my thoughts are now. So my original thoughts when I went into it is I'll probably only use them around home, because when I'm out and about, I won't want to be messing with taking and carrying those with me when they're dirty and stuff. And I was like, and I probably will end up not really liking them. And I remember my mom thought I wasn't going to like them either, because I'm not one that can handle blood and stuff very well. And it did not sound like something I would enjoy using. So I made only a couple pads, the first couple when I first made them, and tried them out. And it was odd because I thought with the bulk of them, I was going to feel like I had this big, heavy pad, between my legs. It felt like a diaper kind of thing. But oddly enough, after the initial few minutes with it, once you adjust to it, it's immediately it feels like just another layer of clothing. You don't even notice it anymore. And so I was like, oh, I like this. It kind of felt like another pair of underwear, and that was there just to protect me. I did notice less migraines. And shortly after that, I also went off diet sugar, which took even more of my migraines away. I've done a few other things that have helped with the migraines as well. Okay, then I noticed I was having less heavy bleeding until I had the issues. I was not heavy bleeding anymore. It was more stayed pretty stable. It wasn't heavy bleed here, light bleed here. Or I had a heavy bleed, but it wasn't it didn't feel heavy. That's what I should say. It didn't feel heavy, because here's what I think happened. I think they were heavy bleeds, but I think what they were was I had better absorbency with the terry cloth than I did with the cloth or with the disposable pads. It was absorbing better, because it, that's made to wick away, water from our bodies. A towel is, and there's 4 layers of material here able to catch this liquid coming out of my body. And so I think it wasn't so much that I was not bleeding as heavy as I was being caught better. So I could go several hours with my cloth pad and not change it. I'd go to the bathroom, but I wouldn't have to change the pad when I went in. It wouldn't feel to the point where, gross, I gotta pull that back up. Sometimes it would, sometimes I wouldn't. I had less itch down there. I started slowly getting rid of my itch down below. I still have a little bit here and there, but that's because of toilet paper. I mean, I probably should try to figure out how to make reusable toilet paper, but no, that's gross. That's where I draw the line. I'll continue to use what I'm using. The itch is doable. I can live with it. My cramps lightened up quite a bit. I mean, like, I used to double over in pain. Mom's sitting here, I'm kind of looking over at her. I used to double over in pain, and I would, like, moan and groan, and I was in a lot of misery, wasn't I, during my periods?
Yes.
And now, since I've taken and went to the cloth pads, I live a normal life. I'm very active during my period. I can actually exercise during my period now, where before it hurt to exercise. Like, I'd be cramping so bad when I'd exercise, I'd almost vomit. So now I can go for a walk when I'm on my period. Sometimes I can, sometimes I can't, but if I can't, it's because I'm overheating, not because of the cramps. Before it was the cramps. So I feel like that really changed how I felt. My periods shortened from 7 days to anywhere from 4 to 5 days. I generally am done within 5 days. Once in a while, I'll bleed till 7 days. But that's just because of my age. I'm getting to that point where that would be normal anyway. I have less leakage. I don't leak with these pads near as much, and it's not just because they have wings and my other pads didn't. It's because I actually have where I had needed it, because I controlled the length of it. And before, I wasn't able to control that as well. I would have had to probably use 3 pads to cover the whole underwear, and I was using 2. So I go through less pads during a month. I go through less. I mean, everything is just less. It feels so much better for me. My mom thought for sure I was going to hate him. I wasn't going to want to stick with him. And after the first month that I went fully with cloth pads, she was like shocked, because I could not stop raving about how wonderful they were. I was like, oh my God, why didn't I do this sooner? And like, I was like wishing I would have known this back in high school even. I don't think I would have appreciated it back in high school like I do now, but cloth pads are amazing. Something I'm really glad I chose. They are a little trickier to make, but worth the time I put into them. The biggest issue I have with my cloth pads is my snaps, trying to make them work all the time. Because I have plastic snaps and they don't always stay in place right, but I'll work on that. I'm actually able to sleep a little better during my period than I was beforehand, because I'm not worrying so much about leakage. I've had maybe 2 leaks since I went on the cloth pads, and have been such a game changer in my period. Another thing about the cloth pads that I like is that they help my mental health. Now, that sounds crazy, and you're all going, how does that help your mental health? Well, all the other benefits of them have made it so that I feel less depressed during my period, because I'm not having the cramps, I'm not having the headaches, I'm not having, all these health issues, so I don't get so down on myself. But also with the cloth pads, since I control what I use for materials in them, I get to have something that makes me smile that I'm putting on. So I get it's like giving yourself a little hug during your period. I know that sounds like a crazy way to say it, but it's like giving yourself a hug, because you get to have bright, bold, cheerful patterns on your materials that you choose. Yeah, you're going to bleed into them, but at the same time, there's spots that don't have the blood, or, when you're putting them on, that, oh, this is cool, I like this pad, this is cool. Like right now, I have one that's, because I'm getting ready to start again, I have one that's like supposed to be like a Paris theme one, and it's kind of like a Valentine-y Paris theme that I threw on. It's May. I use my pads all year round, no matter what they are. I will have a Halloween one on tomorrow. I'll have a 4th of July one on the next day. It just, whatever. Or whenever I change my pad. So yeah, I like, and it's also nicer when I'm preparing for my period, between my period pill and the day of the period. I get to, I wear the cloth pads now, and that is a little bit less annoying, because then I'm also not giving myself longer to itch and stuff, because that itch was building up, and it would build up the longer I had to wear them, and then it would be harder to get rid of. And I'd be just getting rid of it when I'd start again. Well, I was in constant itch, and that hurt. But with the cloth pads, I don't have that, and it's so much easier to live a daily life even when I'm waiting between them. It made all the symptoms pre-period. So, like, I get heavy down below. I start feeling that heavy in the uterus area where you know there's something about to happen. And that pulled, like, it's pulling down toward the area to drop, And, like, you feel that cramp, that slight cramp where, like, your ovaries are going, ooh, time to release, and all that. You feel that, and it's very painful for me if I don't have the cloth pads. When I'm on my disposable pads, that is like knives wrenching at my body, It's like, it feels like somebody's trying to stab me to death, and I don't like that feeling. But now with the cloth pads, it doesn't feel that way. Honestly, I think Mom can attest to this. I get less testy, yes, except for one thing. I'm on a period pill that makes me more testy. But when I wasn't on the period pill, right before my period, I was less cranky and grouchy. I do occasionally have migraines from other reasons, and when I do get those, then I do get crabby and cranky. I am a little more crabby and cranky now, but I couldn't imagine taking care of you or Dad. That last couple years I took care of Dad or you during my period if I wouldn't have had the cloth pads. I switched at the right time because right about that time is when my dad started getting really bad. And I think looking back, it was the right choice. And I think you'd agree. Maybe I'm wrong. But I think when you look at pre-cloth pad versus after cloth pad, would that girl pre-cloth pad been able to do what she does with the cloth pads when it comes to taking care of her parents? No. I think she would have been in a much worse state. And actually, I have also noticed that I'm able to cry a little easier during my periods than I used to be, which sounds stupid. But a lot of women cry during their periods, and I couldn't. Part of that was the chemicals were drying out I would get dry. And it would be like, I'd want to cry, and I couldn't cry, and I would be miserable because I was getting migraines from all the chemicals, which dries out my eyes when I get migraines. So it was, for me, just overall, for my physical and my mental health, cloth pads were the way to go. So if you're having a lot of mental or physical health issues during your period, and you use disposable pads or tampons or any of that stuff, you might try some of these reusable products. There are ones that are pre-made. There are ones you can make yourself. There's a couple of YouTubers out there that talk more in depth on that. I can't remember the one. Her name was Kelly something. She tries out all the different ones and gives you kind of a review of each one. And then Precious Star Pads reviews certain ones. She is really good. I love Precious Star Pads. She's a girl from England, and she gives you some really good information. She also has not endometriosis, but the one that starts with an A, and I don't remember what it's called. But she talks about that too, and how this has helped her and what she's doing for that journey. So if you're interested in more period content, check her out. And definitely, I mean, there's a few of them that I watch their videos whenever I'm on my period. I don't do it as much now that I've been on the cloth pads for a while, because now I take it more in stride than I used to. But before, when I was on the disposables, I was watching period content when I was in my period stage. Now it's less that way. I'm like a lot more chill and a lot more relaxed. Also, I do my anxiety journals during that time a little bit, sometimes a little bit more. But yeah, that's some of the things that I found with regards to my cloth pads that have helped me. And there are other changes I have made throughout that time, but I think making that change was a gateway that led to some of the other changes I made that have helped my mental and my physical health. If you guys have questions, please leave them down below so I can answer this is all just me. This is not proven. Also, I do know that the one that I had learned about the cloth pads from Precious Star Pads, as I've said before, she said similar stuff about her when she switched, and she switched much younger than I did, because she had health issues. But you should check out her journey if you're interested in that, because she had such an interesting journey with her period health and all that. The feminine health, whatever you want to call it. But I think, honestly, I can say this, that if anybody out there is even somewhat considering it, here's the thing. Get one, try it. Like, I would get, like, maybe 7 of them or something like that. Try them. Give them a couple months. You can always switch back to the disposable pad. But you won't know until you try it. And you may end up finding that this is the greatest thing in the world for you. You may find it's the worst thing in the world for you. And that's okay. Everybody's different. We all have different needs, different things that we work with. And some people can handle chemicals, some people just can't. And I cannot. I am allergic to a lot of chemical stuff. I break out easily from soaps and laundry soap, dish soap, body soaps. That's why I don't use a lot of soap. When I shower, I just use shampoo, Noxzema, and that's it. The rest of my body just gets washed off with several times with a hot washcloth. Occasionally, if I feel like I'm really dirty and I need something, I'll use my shampoo to wash my body. Not in the groin area, no. But I mean, like, on the arms and legs. And then I use Vaseline lotion, or I had one, but they changed the formula. Mary Kay I was using. They changed the formula and I can't use it anymore. I do use Mary Kay moisturizer, and I use Mary Kay foot lotion. So that's how I keep my body, clean and smelling nice. And if you have any questions about that, how I take care of my body or anything, let me know. If you want to know any more of my beauty products and stuff that I like, let me know. I'm definitely not somebody who does a lot of makeup or any of that stuff. I'm very natural. And I think that was another thing that attracted me to the idea of cloth pads. Can you think of anything else? I think that's everything. I should have finished the video, but I had to run off to the other room. Okay, guys. Well, I hope that helps. If you have any specific questions, leave them in the comments down below, or you can contact me at my email, which will be in the box down below. I'm trying to remember to put that up every time, but I sometimes fail. If it's not there, check back or check on the next video or two. I usually, once I miss it, I go back and I catch up on all of them at once. When I upload a video, I'll go in and try to do that. In fact, I think I'll do that today. I hope that you all have a wonderful day filled with lots of love and laughter. I hope your saddest day in the future is only as sad as your happiest day in the past, but if it's not, I hope you find the strength to endure. And until next time, bye guys.